Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. It is so good to have you here today at Pod Studio. I'm Alex, and I am sitting here in our cozy studio with my good friend and co-host, Emma. How are you doing today, Emma?
Hi, Alex. I'm doing great, thank you. I am really excited about today's episode. I feel very relaxed, and I hope our listeners feel the same way. It's a beautiful day to sit down, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and just listen to some English, right?
Exactly. That is what Pod Studio is all about. We want this to be a place where you can improve your English naturally, just by listening to a real conversation. You don't need a textbook today. You just need to listen and enjoy. Today, we are talking about a topic that I think about almost every single day. We're talking about how small habits can change your life.
That is such a powerful topic, Alex. I think people often believe that to change their lives, they need to do something huge. They think they need to move to a new country or start a giant business or run a marathon tomorrow. But really, it is the tiny things we do every day that make the biggest difference.
You are so right. And for our listeners, this is very useful because learning a language is actually a small habit. You don't become fluent in one day. You do it little by little. So if you are listening to us right now, you are already practicing a small habit that will change your English skills in the future.
I love that. It makes the goal feel much easier to reach. So if you're ready, let's dive into the world of habits. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's get started.
Before we start, if you want more fun English podcasts like this, hit the subscribe button right now and join our English learning family.
It really helps us grow.
So, Emma, let's start with the basics. When we say the word habit, what are we actually talking about? In simple terms, what does it mean to you?
Well, to me, a habit is something you do without thinking. It's an automatic action. For example, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? Do you brush your teeth? Do you check your phone? Those are habits. You don't sit in bed and have a long meeting with yourself to decide if you should brush your teeth or not. You just do it.
That's a great way to put it. It's automatic. It's like your brain is on autopilot. I love that word, autopilot. It's like when a plane flies itself without the pilot touching the controls. Our habits are our personal autopilot.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is that we have good habits and bad habits. Some habits help us, and some habits, well, they don't help us so much. Like checking social media for an hour before sleep. That's a habit, but maybe not a great one for our rest.
I am definitely guilty of that one. I tell myself I will look at one photo and then suddenly 40 minutes have passed. It's like a trap. But let's talk about the small part of small habits. Why is it better to start small?
I think it's because our brains are afraid of big changes. If I say, Alex, starting tomorrow, you must exercise for 2 hours every single day, what would you think?
I would probably feel very tired just thinking about it. I would do it for one day, maybe 2 days, and then I would stop. It's too much pressure.
Exactly, it's too much. But if I say, Alex, can you do just 5 minutes of stretching while your coffee is brewing in the morning? What would you say then?
I'd say, yeah, I can do that. It's only 5 minutes. It sounds easy. It sounds like something I can't really say no to.
That's the secret. When a habit is small, it is easy to achieve. That means you can actually finish it. You feel successful. And when you feel successful, you want to do it again the next day. This creates a cycle. You do the habit, you feel good, so you do the habit again.
I like that word, achieve. It means to complete something you wanted to do. So if my goal is small, I can achieve it easily. This reminds me of a story I read about a man who wanted to start the tiny habit of flossing his teeth. Do you know flossing? Using that thin string to clean between your teeth?
Oh, I know it. Dentists always tell us to do it, but almost no one does it every day because it feels like a chore. A chore is a boring job you have to do, like cleaning the floor.
Exactly. So this man decided to start a tiny habit. He decided he would only floss one single tooth.
Just one tooth? That sounds almost silly.
It does sound silly, right? But it worked. He told himself, I only have to do one tooth. Because it was so easy, he did it every night. After a few days, he thought, well, I'm already here, the floss is in my hand, I might as well do the tooth next to it. Soon he was flossing all his teeth. The barrier was gone.
Barrier, that's a good word. A barrier is like a wall that stops you from moving forward. By making the habit tiny, just one tooth, he broke down the wall. I did something similar with reading. I used to say I didn't have time to read books. I would look at a 400-page book and feel stressed.
I feel that way too. Sometimes a big book looks like a mountain.
It really does. So I made a rule. I told myself, Emma, you only have to read one page before you go to bed. Just one page. Some nights I was really tired, so I read exactly one page and turned off the light. But most nights, after I finished the first page, I wanted to know what happened next, so I read 10 or 20 pages.
That is a perfect example. The hardest part of any task is usually just starting. Once you start, the momentum keeps you going. Momentum is a bit like a ball rolling down a hill. At first, you have to push it, but then it starts to move faster by itself.
I love that image. But Alex, what about when we fail? Sometimes we have these small habits like I will drink a glass of water every morning, but then we forget, or we're in a rush. Does that mean the habit is broken forever?
That's a really important question. I think many people are too hard on themselves. They think that if they miss one day, they have failed completely. They say, oh well, I missed a day, so I might as well give up. We call this all or nothing thinking.
All or nothing. That means if it isn't perfect, it's a total failure.
Right, but life isn't perfect. A much better rule is never miss twice. If you forget your habit one day, don't worry about it. It happens. Just make sure you do it the next day. Missing one day is an accident. Missing 2 days is the start of a new bad habit.
That makes me feel much better. It's about being consistent rather than being perfect. Consistent means doing something regularly, even if it's not perfect every time.
Exactly. Consistency is the key to everything. Think about learning English. If someone studies for 5 hours on Monday, but then doesn't look at English for the rest of the month, they won't learn much. But if someone listens to a podcast like Pod Studio for 15 minutes every day, they will see huge progress after a year.
I totally agree. It's like a snowball effect. Have you heard that expression?
I have, but maybe you can explain it for our listeners.
Sure. Imagine a very small snowball at the top of a snowy mountain. If you push it down, it picks up more snow as it rolls. It gets bigger and bigger and faster and faster. By the time it reaches the bottom, it is huge. Small habits are like that. At first, they seem tiny and unimportant, but over time, they grow and have a massive impact on your life.
That is a great explanation. It's about compounding. That's a word often used in money and banking. If you save a little bit of money, it earns interest, and then that interest earns more interest. Habits are the interest of self-improvement.
I love that. Self-improvement is just a way of saying making yourself better. So, Alex, let's give our listeners some real-life examples of small habits they could start today. What is one small habit that has changed your life recently?
Well, for me, it was something very simple. I started leaving my phone in the kitchen at night. I used to keep it on my nightstand right next to my bed.
Oh, I know what happens then. You say goodnight to your family, and then you spend an hour looking at videos of cats or people cooking food you will never make.
Exactly. It was bad for my sleep and bad for my brain. So my small habit was just put the phone in the kitchen at 9 p.m. That's it. I didn't say I will never use my phone. I just changed the location. Because the phone was in the other room, I was too lazy to go get it. Instead, I started reading more.
That's a great example because you changed your environment. Your environment is the space around you. If you want to eat more fruit, put a bowl of fruit on the table where you can see it. If you want to practice guitar, don't keep it in the case under the bed. Put it in the middle of the living room.
That is so true. We often do what is easiest. If the guitar is in front of me, I will play it. If I have to go under the bed and open a case, I probably won't. We should make good habits easy to start and bad habits hard to start.
I have a small habit too. It's called habit stacking. Have you heard of this?
Habit stacking, like building a tower of habits.
Exactly. You take a habit you already have, something you do every day without fail, and you stack a new habit on top of it. For example, I drink coffee every morning. That is my old habit. I don't even have to think about it. So my new habit is, after I pour my coffee, I will write down 3 things I am grateful for.
Oh, I like that. Grateful means feeling thankful for the good things in your life.
Yes, so the coffee is the trigger. A trigger is something that starts an action. Because I always drink coffee, I always remember to write in my journal. I don't have to remember to do it. The coffee reminds me.
That is a brilliant strategy. It's much easier than trying to remember a new habit out of nowhere. You're using the power of your old habits to build new ones. You could do that with English, too. While I'm waiting for the bus, I will listen to one English song and try to understand the lyrics.
Or, while I'm brushing my teeth, I will think of 3 English words I learned yesterday. It only takes 2 minutes, but if you do it every morning, you will remember hundreds of words.
I think some people might be listening and thinking, but Alex, Emma, these things are so small. Does it really matter if I read 1 page or learn 3 words? It feels like it's not enough. What would you say to them?
I would say that the goal of a small habit is not the result of that specific day. The goal is identity change. This is a big idea, but I can explain it simply.
Please do. Identity is about who we believe we are, right?
Right. If you say, I am trying to learn English, you are still someone who is struggling. But if you practice every day, even for 5 minutes, you can say, I am a language learner. If you write every day, you are a writer. Every time you do a small habit, it is like you are casting a vote for the person you want to become.
Casting a vote. That's what we do in an election. We choose the person we want to lead us. So every time I choose to eat an apple instead of a cookie, I'm voting for my health.
Exactly. 1 apple doesn't make you healthy. 1 day of exercise doesn't make you fit. But if you keep voting for that healthy version of yourself, eventually you win the election. You start to believe, I am a healthy person. And once you believe that, the habits become even easier.
That's a very deep thought, Emma. It's not just about what we do, it's about who we are. I think that's why small habits are so powerful. They change our mindset. Our mindset is the way we think about ourselves and the world.
It really is. And I think we should also talk about being patient. We live in a world where everything is fast. We have fast food, fast internet, and we want fast results. But habits are more like gardening. You plant a seed and you water it. You don't see anything for a few days. You might even feel like nothing is happening.
Yeah, you look at the dirt and think, I've been watering this for a week and there's no flower. This is a waste of time.
Exactly. But under the ground, the roots are growing. Then one day, a small green leaf appears. Then a stem. Then a flower. Habits are the same. You might not see a change in your life after 1 week of small habits. You might feel the same, but under the surface, things are changing.
Under the surface. That means things are happening that we cannot see yet. I think that's where many people quit. They quit just before the flower starts to grow. We call this the plateau of latent potential. That sounds like a big academic phrase, but it just means the time when you're working hard but you don't see results yet.
I prefer the ice cube example. Imagine an ice cube sitting on a table in a cold room. The room is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You warm it up to 26, then 27, then 28. The ice cube is still there. It hasn't changed. Then you hit 31, then 32. Suddenly, at 32 degrees, the ice starts to melt.
Wow, so the previous degrees weren't wasted. They were necessary to get to the melting point.
Exactly. All those days when you practiced your English and felt like you weren't getting better, you were just moving from 27 degrees to 28 degrees. You were getting closer to the melting point where everything becomes much easier.
I love that. It gives me so much hope. It reminds me that effort is never wasted. It is just being stored, like a battery being charged.
So, for our listeners, what is a small habit they can start today? We talked about habit stacking and environment change. What about the 2-minute rule?
Oh, tell us about that. Is that the rule where if something takes less than 2 minutes, you should just do it now?
That's one version, but in the world of habits, the 2-minute rule means when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do.
Give me an example.
Okay, so if you want to start a habit of running 3 miles every day, that's too big. The 2-minute version is put on my running shoes and tie the laces. That's it.
Wait, so I just put on my shoes and then I can sit on the couch?
Technically, yes. It sounds funny, right? But the goal is to master the art of showing up. If you can't even put on your shoes, you will never run 3 miles. If you put on your shoes every day, you are becoming the type of person who gets ready to exercise. Usually, once the shoes are on, you'll think, well, I might as well walk to the end of the street.
Showing up. That's a great expression. It means simply being there, being present. Like our listeners are showing up for their English practice right now. They pressed play. They are here. That is the first and most important step.
Absolutely. They showed up. And if they listen for even 10 minutes, they are winning. They are casting a vote for their future as a confident English speaker.
I think we should also mention that it's okay to start embarrassingly small. People sometimes feel embarrassed to say, I only did 1 push-up today, or I only learned 1 new word. They feel like they should be doing more.
But 1 is so much better than 0. 0 is nothing. 1 is a beginning. If you do 1 push-up every day for a year, that is 365 push-ups. If you do 0, well, you are still at 0. Never be ashamed of starting small. The smallest step is still a step forward.
That's very true. And it's also important to celebrate those small steps. We often wait until we reach a huge goal to celebrate. We wait until we get a new job or pass a big exam. But we should feel happy about the small wins, too.
A win is a success, so a small win is a tiny success. Like, hey, I understood a joke in English today, or I remembered to drink my water.
Exactly. If you celebrate the small wins, your brain associates the habit with a good feeling. We like things that make us feel good. If you finish your 1 page of reading and say, good job, me, you are more likely to want to read again tomorrow.
It's like training a puppy. You give the puppy a little treat when it sits down. You don't wait until it can do a backflip to give it a treat. We have to be kind to ourselves, just like we would be kind to a puppy.
That's a funny image, Emma, thinking of our brains as little puppies that need treats and kindness. But it's very accurate. We are often much meaner to ourselves than we would be to a pet or a friend.
We really are. If a friend told you, I read 1 page of a book today, you wouldn't say, only 1 page? That's pathetic. You're a failure. You would say, that's great. What was the page about? We should talk to ourselves like that friend.
I agree. Self-compassion is a huge part of making habits stick. Stick is a good word here. It means to stay, to not go away. We want our habits to stick to our lives like glue.
So to summarize what we've talked about so far, start tiny, use habit stacking, change your environment to make things easy, and don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on showing up.
And remember the ice cube. Even if you don't see results yet, you are warming up. You are getting closer to that melting point.
You know, Alex, I was thinking about how this applies to our podcast, Pod Studio. When we started, we didn't have thousands of listeners. We just had a few. But we decided to be consistent. We decided to show up every week.
That's true. At first, it felt like we were talking to an empty room, but we kept doing it because we loved the habit of creating something and helping people. And slowly, the snowball started to roll. More people found us, and now we have this amazing community of learners.
It's really rewarding. Rewarding means it gives you a good feeling of satisfaction, and that's what we want for our listeners too. We want them to feel that reward of seeing their English improve, little by little.
I think it's also worth saying that sometimes to start a new good habit, you have to break an old bad one. Breaking a habit is a bit different, isn't it?
It is. It's often harder to stop doing something than it is to start something new. A common trick for breaking a bad habit is to make it invisible.
Invisible, like a ghost?
Sort of. If you eat too many cookies, don't put the cookie jar on the kitchen counter where you see it every time you walk past. Put it on a high shelf in the back of a cupboard, or better yet, don't buy them at all. If you don't see the trigger, you won't feel the craving.
A craving is that strong feeling of wanting something, like I really need a chocolate bar right now.
Exactly. Cravings are usually triggered by something we see or smell. If you want to stop checking your phone as soon as you wake up, put your phone in another room or inside a drawer. If it's out of sight, it's out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's a classic English idiom. It means if you don't see something, you don't think about it. It's very effective. I use it for my work. When I need to focus, I turn off all the notifications on my computer. If I don't see the little ping of a new email, I don't feel the need to check it.
That ping is a powerful trigger. It's amazing how much control these little sounds and lights have over us, but we can take that control back by changing our environment.
It feels very empowering. Empowering means it gives you power and confidence. You realize that you aren't just a victim of your habits. You are the architect of your habits. You can design them.
I love that word, architect. An architect is someone who designs buildings. You are designing your life, one small habit at a time. It's like building a house. You don't just wake up and have a house. You lay one brick, then another, then another.
And if one brick is a bit crooked, the house doesn't fall down. You just make sure the next brick is straight.
Precisely. I think we've covered a lot of ground today, Alex. We talked about why small is better than big, how to use triggers and habit stacking, the importance of environment, and why we should be kind to ourselves.
We really did. I hope our listeners find these ideas helpful, not just for their English, but for their whole lives. Whether you want to be healthier, more organized, or learn a new skill, the secret is the same. Start small and keep going.
Before we finish, Alex, do you have any final thoughts for someone who is feeling a bit discouraged? Maybe they've tried to start habits before and they failed.
I would say forget about the past. Today is a new day. Don't worry about the habits you didn't do yesterday. Just ask yourself, what is one tiny thing I can do in the next 10 minutes that will make me feel good? Maybe it's drinking a glass of water. Maybe it's tidying your desk for 2 minutes. Maybe it's listening to the rest of this podcast. Just do that one thing.
That's beautiful. One thing at a time.
Well, Emma, I think that is a great place to wrap things up for today. This has been such a wonderful conversation. I always learn something new when we talk about these things.
Me too, Alex. It's a good reminder for me to stay consistent with my own habits. Thank you for being such a great co-host.
And thank you, Emma. And of course, a huge thank you to all of our listeners. We are so happy that you chose to spend some of your time with us here at Pod Studio.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Remember, every minute you spend listening is a vote for your future. You are doing a great job.
We will be back soon with another episode. Until then, take care of yourself, stay curious, and keep practicing those small habits.
Goodbye, everyone. See you next time.
Bye-bye.